Can you please call the roll? Here.
Here. Here. Here. Here. Microphone.
Mine is on.
Mine's on.
All right. If you're able and willing, can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the agenda, we did have a student who was going to sing the Black National Anthem. Unfortunately, she had a conflict, so I don't think you want me to sing, so we're going to skip that tonight. All right. So, good evening, families, community members, staff, and students. Tonight, we are so excited to celebrate our Students of the Month from Samuel Bissell Elementary School and RBC Chamberlain Middle School. I said that right, okay. Recognizing our students for their leadership, character, and academic success is always one of the highlights of our meetings. And February is Black History Month, and you'll see that our board and staff administrators are wearing Black History shirts today to show our support. While Black History is recognized in February, it should be acknowledged and valued every single day. I had children in this district for over 20 years, and I've served on the PTA boards as well as boosters and council PTA, and there were times when I did not see leadership spaces that reflected the diversity of our broader community. That experience motivated me to help create more opportunities for involvement and engagement. From helping establish the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee within PTA and the Council PTA to developing programs and initiatives that expanded access and awareness, I've always believed that leadership should continue evolving to serve all families. Today, our school board includes 3 Black women and 5 women overall. That growth is meaningful. It reflects progress, expanded perspectives, and a continued commitment to inclusive leadership. Across our district, we are seeing intentional efforts that support and celebrate diversity, from our Black History Club to our Blue Diamonds, who honor the tradition of HBCUs, to the return of our STEP team, to student organizations like Iceberg and the Minority Club, classroom learning experiences, guest speakers, culture celebrations, and spirit weeks, as well as our Twinsburg Educational Opportunity Committee, which focus on expanding access and opportunities to all of our students. Beyond our district, we continue to see Black excellence shaping history in powerful ways. In February of this year, Layla Edwards, who's 22 years old, she's a native of Cleveland Heights. She made history by becoming the first Black woman to compete in the United States Olympics for ice hockey. That is powerful, especially for our young athletes in Northeast Ohio, who now have someone to see that it's possible in that world stage. Trailblazers like Simone Biles, redefining greatness in gymnastics, Serena Williams, changing the face of tennis, and LeBron James not only dominating in basketball, but investing in education and opening the I Promise School reminds us that Black history is about excellence, leadership, resilience, and impact. Leaders like Kamala Harris and innovators like Lonnie Johnson remind us that Black history spans every field, from athletics to governance to science and innovation. Black history is not just about the past. It's about the present. It's about the future. It's about ensuring that every student in our district feels seen, valued, and capable of achieving greatness. Now I'm going to give you an update about our superintendent search. We just wrapped up, that's why we were coming in a little bit late, but we are meeting with our agency finding leaders. We did get 28 applicants who did apply for the search for the role of superintendent, and we had finding leaders interview about 15 of those candidates. We just narrowed it down to 5 candidates that we will start to interview starting next Tuesday. So we're excited to start that process, and we will be updating you on how that goes. Once we get to the final candidates, we will invite our community in, as well as staff, students, to be involved in that stakeholder process. So once we have that information, we will get that communicated. We believe that day will be March 10th that we have that stakeholder interview. Tonight, our treasurer will present the 5-year forecast. I want to publicly thank her as well as our administrative staff for their hard work. Through careful planning as well as doing reductions, we were able to move that from a productive deficit in fiscal year 2028 from negative $7,000 to a positive balance for over $4 million. So even though we will still see projected deficits in fiscal year 28, 29, and 30, this is why we say operational levy is still necessary to ensure long-term financial stability. Ms. Rosenaya, she did go ahead and she brought forward the discussion of an earned income tax some time ago. And we're thankful that she brought that idea to us, and with our current leadership, we were able to move that forward. So we're looking forward to having that in May on the ballot. Yeah, I can't think of my words right now. So many great things are happening in our district. Winter sport playoff games just began next week with our girls and boys basketball teams. I do want to congratulate our bowling team. They took second place in the OHSAA tournament, and the Tigers will now advance to the district tournament. Gymnastics, swimming, as well as wrestling has also recently competed. So we just want you to continue to support all of our student athletes. Tomorrow evening, the Twinsburg Orchestra will host their winter benefit concert. It's at 7 o'clock at the high school auditorium. Performances will include from the Twinsburg High School Orchestra, the Electric Orchestra, 8th grade, as well as 7th grade orchestra. The tickets are $12 for pre-sale and $15 at the door. So it's a wonderful event if you can attend. Also want to remind you that we are having an e-fair, which will be at the high school on March 18th from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. The E stands for Enroll, Enlist, Employ, and Entrepreneurship. We do need some businesses who are interested in signing up for a table. We're looking for those businesses who want to hire high school students, whether it's for the summer, seasonal, part-time, or entry-level opportunities. We only have about 19 businesses signed up right now, and we're looking to at least get to 35. If we don't have that amount, unfortunately, we might not move forward with the e-fair. So if you know of anyone, please make sure to get in touch with our office. We are also looking forward to, on March 2nd, there will be a winter concert for our high school and RBC winter band. And then March 3rd, our world language will have the National Honor Society induction. And then March 14th will be a pancake breakfast, as well as a PTA carnival, which is a fun event for all of our students. And our Chamber of Commerce will also have a business expo. So that'll be a great event. We're hoping we can pack the house, so please make sure to buy tickets. Flyers are out for that right now. And then lastly, our Black History Club, they did have an event scheduled for next Wednesday at 5 o'clock at the high school. It was going to be a program right after. Unfortunately, they're just moving forward with just the vendor fair. So if you can attend the vendor fair from 5 to 6, the Black History Club will be providing samples of food during that time frame, but the program will not be taking place. And just want to thank you again for all of your support, and that's the end of my president's report.
Thank you, President Crawford.
You're welcome.
Thank you, board members, as well. I'm going to start with our Students of the Month, the reason we're all here, right? The Students of the Month. Welcome. I want to first thank all of you for supporting the children. It's so often that we see them successful over and over again as they age throughout our school system. So I appreciate whether you're a teacher, whether you're a family member, whether you're a parent, a grandparent. I see a lot of grandparents here. Thank you for the support you're giving your kids. It's nice to see so many familiar faces. I've been here a long time because some of you that are here as parents, you were like this big when I was here earlier. So it really is great to see so many students staying in Twinsburg, and we see you over and over again. It's amazing how old we get so fast, but it really is, it's great to see so many familiar faces. What I'd like to do first is to begin with Bissell Elementary School. Ms. Johnson, thank you very much.
Good evening, families and Board of Education, Superintendent Mr. Marlowe. Thank you all for being here this evening. This is an exciting evening because we get to celebrate our wonderful students here in our district. And starting with Bissell, and then you'll hear from RBC. But it's so exciting when we get to celebrate our young ones because they are our future and they start so young doing the right thing, being recognized for doing the right thing. And tonight we get to celebrate. Not only do we celebrate tonight, we will celebrate on Friday. They will celebrate with myself and Mr. Winter with a pizza lunch. So we're excited about that as well. We have fun when we do that together. So just to tell you a little bit how students are selected, excuse me. Students are selected at Bissell for outstanding student achievement and for also being good citizens and doing very well academically and volunteering in some instances within their classrooms, and then for other accomplishments that the teacher sees them in. And so they get to stand out a little bit from all the students in the building. And it's so nice, and I tell students all the time, to hear your name over the announcements and for others to hear what you're doing is a great example for all the other students to follow. So when you come up this evening, boys and girls, put the smiles on your faces. You should be very happy and proud of yourselves because we are so proud of you. So the way we're going to do it, when I call your name to come up, I'm going to say a little bit about you. You're going to give me a hug. And then you're going to come over and you're going to get your certificate from Mrs. Crawford. And then Mrs. Travis is going to give you a nice token there. And then you're going to stand in the front and you're going to put the biggest smile on that you can because moms and dads are going to take pictures, okay? All right, can I have the staff come up and join me at this time? All right, we're going to start with Kennedy Fair from Miss Klomenik's class. Kennedy, come on up. A little bit about Kennedy. She was selected because she is kind and respectful to her classmates and her teacher. She is a great listener, and she's a very helpful friend and a positive role model for all. So congratulations to Kennedy. Noah Granville from Ms. Klomenik's class. Come on up, Noah. Noah is chosen because of his kindness, his patience, and his willingness to help. He is very punctual, organized, and he demonstrates a love for learning. Congratulations, Noah. Emma Kearns from Miss Jolly's class. Emma is truly a model student. Ms. Jolly wrote this, so she says, I can always look to her to be making smart choices and to be working hard to complete the task given. She is so bright, she has great potential, and consistently works toward achieving it. Congratulations, Emma. Cameron Shewitt from Ms. Jolly's class. Cameron is well liked by all the students in my class. This, again, is written by Ms. Jolly. And this is because he is always respectful, he gets along with everyone, and he follows the rules. It says that it is truly an honor. This is awesome. It is truly an honor to have Cameron in my class and to nominate him for Student of the Month. Congratulations, Cameron. That's awesome. All right, these are our second graders. Okay, let's see it. Say cheese. Let's see those teeth. We want to get a picture of all of our second graders. Don't stay in there. You stay in there. All right, can we give our second graders another round of applause? All right, second graders, you can go ahead and have a seat. Staff, if you would stay up here with me, please, because we're going to recognize our third graders. Sawyer Fallerman from Mrs. Fritz's class. Sawyer, come on up. This is written by Mrs. Fritz. And it says that Sawyer represents the Bissell Tigers roar. So for us, roar stands for respect. Say it with me, boys and girls. Ready? Respect, organization, achievement, responsibility. Great job. So he represents that. He is hardworking, respectful, and responsible. He consistently puts forth strong effort. He follows classroom rules and expectations, and he takes pride in his work. Congratulations, Sawyer. Judah Rucker is from Mrs. Gadosh's class. And this is written by Mrs. Gadosh. Judah genuinely wants to do well and puts forth that effort into everything he does, both in and out of school. His positive attitude and willingness to try his best makes him a wonderful role model for others. Congratulations to Judah. Emery Stanley from Mrs. Fritz's class. This is written by Mrs. Fritz. Emery arrives at school each day with a smile. Look at her smile. She's smiling now. I love it. And a positive attitude, ready to learn. She consistently puts forth a strong effort. She follows classroom rules, and she takes pride in her work. She is hardworking, responsible, and she is a kind friend. Congratulations, Emery. Kyle Storm, come on down from Mrs. Gadosh's class. It says, written by Mrs. Gadosh, Kyle brings such a kind and caring energy to our classroom every single day. She is thoughtful of others. She makes our room feel like a welcoming place for everyone. She gives her best effort in everything she does, and she doesn't give up. And we talk about this a lot, so this is important. We have what we talk about at school is called GRIT, G-R-I-T, and it stands for, if you remember, you can say it with me. The G is give it your all. The R is respond with a positive attitude. The I is independent thinker, and the T is totally engaged, right? So this is what Kyle does. It says that she gives her best effort in everything she does, and she doesn't give up even when learning is hard. Congratulations, Kyle. All right, third graders. Yeah, come on over here. Slide down just a little bit. Yeah, you can get right in front of the teacher there. There you go. Okay. All right, cheese. Okay, parents, this is for you. Thank you. All right, can we give another round of applause to our third graders? Thank you, staff, for your help this evening. Thank you. And now I'll turn it over to Mr. Beaumont. All right, from RBC. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, our second and third graders. How about we go ahead and meet out here if you want to take pictures out in the back there. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Beaumont.
I think it's great. All right, everybody. I only have about a 45-minute long presentation for you. No, I don't. I just want to say, we've had a great few weeks here at RBC, and I know the students that we're going to be talking about tonight really embody our goals of respect, responsibility, and right choices. So we talk about that every single day on our announcements. We talk about it in every presentation that we have, and the students that we are honoring tonight exemplify that every single day. So we really appreciate all their hard work and everything they do to make Chamberlain a great place to be. So we're going to start out with our 7th grade students, and I'm going to read a little blurb that was created from our teams of teachers. So when you get your name read, we'll read out our little description, our little blurb. Please come up so that we can have some pictures. I know it's not cool for middle schoolers to take pictures, but we are going to take pictures nonetheless. Mr. Sedlak is encouraging me to hug, but I'm going to shake everybody's hands. So thank you. All right, I'm going to start out with our first winner, Savannah Harley. Savannah is a Savannah is a well-rounded young lady who embraces her school experience to her best potential. She is generous, humble, and often volunteers to assist others. In addition to her academic achievements, she also excels in other areas such as her creative abilities. She is a joy to have in class. Our next student of the month is Sahil Rai. Sahil is a good-natured student who is respectful to his classmates and teachers. He prioritizes his academics through hard work and focus at school. And he prepares for class by consistently completing homework and studying. Sahil works well with his peers and contributes to all class efforts. Our next student of the month is Jade Posey. Jade is consistently a leader in the classroom in both academics and behavior. She stays focused on the lessons being presented and disciplines herself for assignments that follow. She has the respect of teachers and peers alike. Our final 7th grade student is Louis Nightingale. Louis is a truly well-rounded young man who leads by example through his hard work and dedication. He's an engaged student who is eager to participate in his classes. Louis balances his academic dedication with a genuine kindness and helpful spirit toward peers and adults alike. His dedication and positive character make him a standout member of our school community. Congratulations to our 7th grade students of the month. Folks, they're going to want to take pictures. You don't go running away. We can't go running away. So I've made that mistake with my wife, and we're not going to do that tonight. All right, let's give them one more round of applause, please. All right, we are going to transition over to our 8th graders, our leaders of the building. And our first 8th grade student of the month is Imani Barton. The blue team is proud to have Imani Barton as their student of the month. Imani leads in a quiet but powerful way. She's consistently kind, respectful, and responsible, always setting a positive example for those around her. She works well with every classmate, and if she ever needs help, she confidently asks for it, demonstrating both maturity and a true commitment to growth. We are so proud to have you, Imani. Our next 8th grade student of the month is Tristan Pipkin. The blue team is also proud to have Tristan Pipkin as their student of the month. Tristan is a leader at RBC who makes a strong impact through his actions. He consistently completes his work and pushes himself to take on challenges that help him grow. Rather than seek attention, Tristan leads by example with steady focus and determination. Way to go, Tristan. Our third 8th grade student of the month is Quinn McCafferty. Quinn is an exceptional young lady. She is a strong student, challenging herself in her classes and putting forth her best effort each day. She has such a creative mind, and this shows in both her writing and in her artwork. She's a great role model to her classmates and is both well-liked and respected by all her peers. Congratulations, Quinn. We do have a 4th 8th grade student of the month. He is not here this evening, so we will honor him regardless, and we'll make sure he gets his certificate tomorrow. Our final 8th grade student of the month is Michael Garicki. Michael is a kind and compassionate student who consistently works hard and actively participates in class. He builds strong relationships with his peers and creates a positive learning environment for everyone around him. Always willing to lend a helping hand, he truly embodies what it means to be the student of the month. Congratulations, Michael. All right, don't go running off the stage, 8th graders. We're going to get some pictures, please. Fantastic. Thank you guys so much. And thank you all for being here this evening. We really appreciate it. We have amazing students at RBC, and we're glad to show them off.
Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you for understanding. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As Mr. Crawford said, our winter season is coming to an end. We have all kinds of events taking place. We really appreciate everyone's support and supporting our children. Tomorrow night, you mentioned the concert, so I won't belabor all that, but we have a lot of events going on. Please visit our website and check out all the great things that are happening. Pancake breakfast on the 14th. And other than that, that completes my report. Thank you very much.
Committee reports.
Oh, is it? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, great. We will turn it over for committee reports. Maria will update for business advisory.
Good evening, everyone. At the Business Advisory meeting, we had Toni Kloos, our liaison with the CVCC. She gave us a presentation in reference to the different trades that the CVCC offers. For those of you that don't know what CVC stands for, it's the Cuyahoga Valley Career Center, and the different trades that they offer to the students. The CVCC services 8 districts. They have 25 programs currently in place. They provide technical education to over 1,000 students a year. And one of the, what's like a new oldest trade that's currently expanding is construction, and Toni spoke to us about that. She gave us a brief tour of the facility, and that's my report. Did you have anything to add, President Crawford?
No, she just talked, we were just talking, I already mentioned about the e-fair. That was one of the main things, and just more of the different things that they're doing in each of the buildings with the careers and exploration. And right now they're preparing more of the resumes, and we were just talking more about how in the workforce there's a lot of different trades and different lines of businesses where you don't need a degree, and so we were talking about opportunities for our students, and there is an upcoming job fair that they'll be attending, and so it was just more of that information. But we were glad to have, for the first time, our meeting was at CVCC, which Maria mentioned. So usually it's at the library, so that was really fun to be able to have it there, and for people to get the opportunity to tour the building. There is a new wing that was added on, and so that was part of the tour, to be able to see that part for electrical and all the different things that they're doing in the tower. So that's it. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to present you the 4-year required forecast. However, we still do a 5-year forecast for our district. The requirements of the school district, public school district forecast As we all know, House Bill 96 has changed it as of this year for the first time from the prior November and May deadlines to October 15th in the fall of 25 and February 28th of this month for the spring submission, opposed to May as we had it for many, many years before. In the next fiscal year, our deadlines are moving again to end of August, so in the middle of the summer, as soon as we close the fiscal year in July, and then February 28th of next year, and looks like for now it is our knowledge it will stay with August and February until it's changed again. Required funds to be included in the 4-year forecast are listed on my presentation. For our district, we only have general fund that goes into the forecast. And as I mentioned in the beginning, we will continue to look at the 5-year forecast for just a little bit of better and longer horizon for our planning purposes. The purpose and the objectives of the forecast are to engage the Board of Education and community in long-range planning and discussions of potential financial issues facing our schools, to serve as a basis for the ability for the school leadership to sign the 412 certificate, which is required to be signed in order to certify that the district does have the funds to pay those obligations, perhaps for larger contracts and union agreements, and to provide a method for the Ohio Department of Education and the state auditors to identify school districts with potential upcoming financial problems. Before we go to the numbers, a financial forecast offers a forward-looking view based on current conditions and information currently available to us. The 5-year forecast is an essential management tool and needs to be reviewed and, as I just mentioned, updated on a regular basis, at least twice a year. There is a note and assumptions that go with every single forecast, and it is very important and crucial for somebody looking at the numbers in the forecast to read the notes that go with it in order to have an accurate interpretation of what the forecast numbers are representing. And this process enables the district leadership to anticipate future challenges and respond to them proactively, as we have been. Key line items in a forecast. The forecast is divided into 2 sections, revenues and expenditures. District revenues are coming from 2 main sources, local and state funding, and the expenditures are salary and wages, benefits, purchase services, supplies, and materials. As we all know, we have new legislation that targets property taxation. The governor on December 19, 2025, has signed into law 4 pieces of new legislation, and I have them listed under House Bill 129, House Bill 186, House Bill 309, and House Bill 335. The new law take effect on March 19th, next month. We don't have any authoritative details on House Bill 186 amounts from Ohio of Department of Taxation until April, and that is after this forecast deadline. But again, the forecast does have information included that we currently at this point in time are aware of. So for House Bill 186, we do not anticipate any major impact for our district, as we are not on the 20 mil floor, so we are not going, we don't expect to be penalized by that House bill. House Bill 309 allows county budget commissions to reduce and override previously voted levies by the school district's residents to limit collections of those levies. This is likely to be implemented unequally statewide over the 88 counties. House Bill 335 limits inside millage growth on reappraisal and update years. We don't expect any impact due to projecting gross domestic product deflation level growth. Little more details about House Bill 129. The 20 mil floor calculation includes emergency and substitute levy millage, which in the past did not. So that's a big change. Beginning in the next reappraisal or triennial update cycle of a county that contains territory of the district. This will affect our district in tax year 26 for collection in 27 because Summit County in 2026 does have a sexennial reappraisal, and in 2023 we had the triennial update. So this summer the county will be doing a reappraisal of the properties in the district. Emergency and substitute levies approved before 2026 may be renewed as a fixed sum current operating expense levy for up to 5 years and may be subsequently renewed. We'll see how this plays out as our district has 3 10-year emergency levies. So if we're only able to renew them for 5 years, that's going to be a change for us, a negative one. It removes the option to renew multiple emergency levies in a single ballot, which we did not have in the past. And then a district in fiscal caution watch or emergency, which I have been underlining that we are not and we have not been. We have been in precaution status to work proactively on our numbers, but not in fiscal caution watch or emergency. Or those impacted by disasters may impose a new fixed sum levy for up to 5 years, which may not be renewed. This is, again, not our case at this point in time. And these changes will affect elections beginning May 5th, 2026. House Bill 335 is capping inside millage growth. So it caps the revenue from inside millage to inflation measured by the gross domestic product deflator over the prior 3 years in the reappraisal triennial update years. Excludes revenue growth from new construction and from expiring abatements. This is all not positive. Applies beginning in the tax year 26 for counties undergoing a reappraisal or triennial update, which is us this year. Requires the County Budget Commission in September of the reappraisal or update year to make this adjustment. So by projecting increases in our forecast of reappraisal and triennial updates anticipated by the GDP deflator, we do not expect major adjustments to our projected taxes that are reflected in our revenues, because we have been not projecting. So if we remember 3 years ago in 23, our properties in Summit County went up by 30% In our forecast, we did not project 3 years out for the appraisals to go up by 30% again. We have been just limiting it to a reasonable increase, so that's why our numbers for the revenues should not be really much affected in the forecast. But we'll find out in April all of how this actually will affect us, but we do not expect a major hit. All right. So our revenue sources between the state and local funding, the state of Ohio for this year, we're seeing an 18.12% contribution in state funding. As we always know, they offer a little support, but yet that little support of about around $6-7 million we very much need it. But we are most of our funds are coming in from property taxes, as we all know. And we are at the minimum state share index of 10% for the calculation of receiving our state funding. The district mainly depends on our local taxpayers, but again, we still need badly the state funding, and that's why every time that we're losing somewhat or a little more, perhaps 2 years ago, as we all know, we lost about $1.3 million. All of a sudden, that's a very large hit to our district. So it is a little help and minimal, and Superintendent Marlowe and I are working on some comparisons to other districts around us to show how much we're receiving in state foundation for future presentations, and we are receiving not really much. So as we all know, we were told that we are a wealthy district, and unfortunately it doesn't help us with this. So I have here actual and projected revenues. If you wish to look with me at the numbers on line 1.07 for total revenues, somebody might ask, why do I show less money in fiscal year 29 coming in and fiscal year 30 than the prior years? And I just wanted to explain that because of two levies that are coming off in those 2 years. So I am legally required to remove the collection until those levies pass, and they're on the second page of the forecast. So we are showing them if those levies pass on the second page of the forecast, but here we are legally required to remove them. So that's why I just wanted to underline and detailed explanation of the $2.7 million for fiscal year 29 that needed to be removed is from that 5-year levy that we last time renewed in 22 November. And then $5.5 million of that same levy that we would not be collecting in fiscal year 30. Of course, if and we hope it passes, then it's on the second page of the forecast. But just for clarification, that's why we're showing less monies. And then in fiscal year 30, we also have another 10-year emergency levy that's expiring, so that's lessening our collections again on this revenue line by another $2 million. And again, all the details of the numbers are on page 10 of the assumptions and the notes. Challenges to our operating revenues, as I just reviewed, House Bill 129 and 186 of the new legislation will cut taxes for our districts. We are hoping at this point in time that it won't be drastic. House Bill 96 continued the Fair School Funding Plan. We anticipate it will be continued in fiscal year 26 and 27 biennium budget. House Bill 96, the Fair School Funding Plan, had us on the guarantee this year for the first time, and will stay on the guarantee in fiscal year 27, which I will have to say that helps with our state foundation that we're on guarantee district now, not on formula. And then I always, every time I do the presentation, I just have to go back for a quick second to the tangible personal property revenues that our district has lost over the years, and how those funds have been lessened and lessened. For example, in fiscal year 15, we received a $6.6 million, and then in fiscal year 19, a $3.1 million. And then the last payment we received was fiscal year 22 at $633,000, and then we are not receiving any more since fiscal year 23. Department of Education and Workforce dropped our revenue significantly due to rising property values and income levels, and I just mentioned a few minutes back that a couple of years back we lost about $1.3 million all of a sudden. So I'm going to switch over to our expenditures. And we all know that our wages and benefits are our highest expenditures, as we are in people business and for educating our students. We have our staff. So it is at 82.5% for those two categories, wages and benefits. However, we also have additional wage costs in purchase services section for any third parties that we're paying, such as the Education Service Center of Northeast Ohio, for City of Twinsburg, Wren Hill, which is our teaching substitutes third party, and Summit County Sheriff's Office. And then our fringe benefits follow wages always as the second highest cost and fastest growing category in the forecast. Our actual and projected expenses are reflected on the next slide. And now I will talk about what has changed in the wages line between the October forecast and this forecast. Due to the deficit in cash reserve for fiscal year 28 of $730,000, in the October forecast, the district received another letter of fiscal precaution from Department of Education and Workforce. And to address this situation, we must eliminate the negative cash in fiscal year 28 in this forecast submission this February, or work with Department of Education and Workforce on a similar to the spring 23 plan submission. But this forecast is meeting the requirements that we were given because we were on top of it. The Board of Education has approved the interim superintendent's proposed cost reduction plan at the January 21st meeting, and those numbers are reflected in this forecast. So for wages and benefits section for fiscal year 27, so I just want to clarify, for this year, we still have our wage costs as we were projecting them in October. We're very close with the numbers. So the wage line and benefits are changing a lot next year because of the reduction plan for reduction through attrition of 8.5 positions and reduction of additional 11 positions, which we use average salaries for those 11 positions are taking effect in fiscal year 27, not this year. Okay, just to clarify that. So what are our challenges to our operating expenditures? We have another reduction in cost as per the cost reduction plan of a $407,000 total in purchase services. Now that reduction in cost is for this fiscal year 26 because we were working and we're still working hard as a whole team between board and administration to reduce communications, consulting, and printing costs by $85,000. Legal fees by at least $75,000 is our goal. And then we're using $250,000 Education Service Center subsidy cost to cover some of our wage and benefits used for the Education Service Center staff that work in our district. Another concern is that some of our costs are growing at a higher than inflation rate. So I usually talk about inflation rate is affecting our district as it's affecting all of us in our private lives. However, we are seeing some increased cost in overall purchase services for materials and supplies and utilities. And we will do some analysis. We will run some numbers, and I wish to bring those numbers to the Finance Committee's attention so maybe we can brainstorm and see is there anything that we could change or do in order to further lower some of those costs. For example, for the electric bills, we were aware for this year we have an electric capacity charge that will be assessed at a 20% increase for only this fiscal year. However, I am concerned that the increase is even higher than 20%. So if we have a 20% increase on one item that's pretty significantly large though, in our purchase services at 20%, of course it pulls all other costs at a higher rate than a 3%, let's say, for inflation. Okay, but we wish to analyze and do some more research and brainstorming or if there's anything else we can do. Yes. The electric bill was supposed to only be increased for this fiscal year, correct? At 20%. We were told that it will. I'm concerned that it's more than 20% based on the bills I have seen, and that's why I would like to, this forecast is now going to be done and complete, to pull some numbers and do some comparisons and bring them to the Finance Committee so we can all collectively, of course, Mr. Strickland and our Superintendent Marlowe, we can all look at them and see if there is anything possibly that we could do to try to lower it. And then, of course, next year we were informed that it's supposed to go back. But now we're seeing increases with other bills as well. We're seeing some increases larger than a 3% inflation rate for substitutes, possibly. But if we do have need for substitutes, we must pay for the services. But however, we just want to do a comparison over the past few years to see if there's anything as a district administration we can do about it. On my next slide, I have our expenditures by object for fiscal year 23 to fiscal year 30, just as a informational graph. Definitely our 2023 levy has helped the district financials, and so does the recent reduction plan. However, our expenses continue to exceed revenues each year. So I would like to take a minute for all of us to look at what my major concern is, line 601 on the next slide, which reflects our expenditures being higher than our revenues for every single one of the years in this forecast. And then on the same slide, I'm showing our depletion of our cash reserves. So to say, we could call them like our savings account, correct? Our monies that we have sitting basically set aside. And then I would also like to mention that we don't have base salary increases in these numbers starting with fiscal year 28 because we don't have a currently signed negotiated agreement. So Of course, depending on what happens in April with all the legislature and what happens in May with the proposed earned income tax, that will decide definitely our next steps. But I wanted to show where our cash reserves would be. And here in the cash reserves line 10.01, you can see for fiscal year 29 a $4.9 million negative and a over $20 million negative for fiscal year 30. And then I'm also showing line 12.01, which is different numbers. So I wanted to explain this. This difference is again because of those two levies that are expiring in those two fiscal years. Okay, so if the levy passes, then we would still be negative $2.1 million in fiscal year 29. Okay, and because it's removed, that's why we're showing of $4.9 million on line 10.01. I just wanted to explain that in detail of why the numbers are different. You're welcome. So I have a quick graph here for our revenues versus expenditures. The red line is our expenditures, the blue is our revenues, and then the green is our ending cash balance. And this graph models our December 2nd payment from the State Foundation, which has the most recent information for us and slightly changed from July. And then our ending cash reserve balances on this almost to the last slide. And I have mentioned this before that we are required for each year to have a 30 to 60 day cash reserves. We spend as a district about $5.5 million each month, plus minus. So a 30 to 60 day cash reserves around $10-11 million would be ideal. But with $6 million to $10 million is still okay. However, when we get underneath that, and then when we get to less than zero, that's not allowed. That's why we're receiving the letter of fiscal precaution from Department of Education. So just to the action steps, we must stay on course with the reduction plan. As I mentioned, wish to work with the Finance Committee on ideas to reduce increasing third-party and supply costs. And the Board of Education, in collaboration with the administrative team, will evaluate potential strategies to ensure the development of a balanced budget over time. Any questions? You're very welcome. So we'll be good now with the submission of this for the February deadline with the Department of Education, and then we'll continue to work hard to accomplish our goals of a balanced budget. Thank you so much.
Everyone, H number 1, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves and adopts the Twinsburg City School District's updated five-year forecast and assumptions for school years 2026 through 2030 as prescribed by ORC 5705.391 and 5705.412. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Hamilton. Second by Mrs. Travis. Any discussion?
Mrs. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mrs. Travis?
Yes.
Ms. Rush?
Yes.
Mrs. Egan?
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford?
Yes. And that passes 5-0. I, action items personnel. 1, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the certified staff recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks. 2, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the classified staff recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks. 3, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the supplemental contract recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks and completion of all requirements for a pupil activity permit. 4, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the pupil activity contract recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks. And 5, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the OHSAA tournament worker recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Egan,
Second.
second by Mrs. Rush. Any discussion?
Mrs. Egan,
Yes.
Ms. Rush,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mrs. Travis,
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes, and that motion passes 5-0. J, action items, new business. Number 1, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the contract with Educational Alternatives for one student to attend the Choral Autism Program for the remainder of the 25-26 school year. The prepaid tuition cost is $18,975 and is being paid with a credit due to students withdrawing from the district. Documentation provided to the board under separate cover. 2, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the contract with LearnWell to provide educational services to one student for the requirements of the student's IEP. Total cost is not to exceed $1,067.33. It will be a general fund expense per the documentation sent to the board under separate cover. 3, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the College Credit Plus Memorandum of Understanding between Cuyahoga Community College and the Twinsburg School District for the 26-27 school year per the attached exhibit. 4, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the renewal of Microsoft OVS ES licenses from the Connections Incorporated at the cost of $24,394.32 for the 26-27 school year. This is a general fund expenditure per the documentation sent to the board under separate cover. 5, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the contract with the United Cerebral Palsy Association of Greater Cleveland to provide job training consultation to district staff. The total cost is $11,400. Will be paid with a job training grant awarded to the district through the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. Documentation was sent to the board under separate cover. 6, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the following resolution: authorizing the 2026 to 2027 membership in the Ohio School Athletic Association, whereas the Twinsburg School District, City School District, District IRN number 050070 of 11136 Ravenna Road, Summit County, Ohio, has satisfied all the requirements for membership of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, a voluntary unincorporated association non-for-profit, and whereas the Board of Education and its administration desire for the schools with 1 or more grades at the 7th through 12th grade level under the jurisdiction to be voluntary members of the OHSAA. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education that the Twinsburg High School and R.B. Chamberlain Middle School do hereby voluntarily renew their membership in the OHSAA, and that in doing so, the Constitution, bylaws, regulations, and business rules of the OHSAA are hereby adopted by this board and for its own minimum requirements as it pertains to, but not limited to, student eligibility, coaching requirements, and administrative responsibility. Notwithstanding the foregoing, the board reserves the rights to raise the minimum standards as it is deemed appropriate for the schools and students under its jurisdiction. And be it further resolved that the schools under the board's jurisdiction agree to conduct their athletic programs in accordance with the Constitution, bylaws, regulations, business rules interpretations and decisions of the OHSAA and cooperate fully and timely with the Executive Director's Office of the OHSSA in all matters related to the interscholastic athletic programs of the schools. Furthermore, the school under this board jurisdiction shall be the primary enforcers of the OHSSA Constitution, bylaws, regulations, business rules, and the interpretations and rulings rendered by the Executive Director's Office. The administrator heads of these schools understand that failure to discharge the duty of primary enforcement may result in fines, removal from tournaments, suspension from membership, and or other such penalties as prescribed in bylaw 11. 7, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the anonymous donation in the amount of $4,000 to support future authors' visits in the district. 8, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the revised job description in the position of budgetary officer for the use hash exhibit. And 9, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the revised job description for the position of accounting clerk per the attached exhibit. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Hamilton.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Rush. Any discussion? Can you please call the roll?
Yes.
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 Yes. Mrs. Crawford?
Yes, and that motion passes 5-0. Any miscellaneous?
Yes. Go ahead, Lee.
Go ahead, Lee.
Okay. Good evening again. I just have a little bit of State House information, just an update for everyone in reference to a gun safety bill that was brought up in the General Assembly by Representative Meredith Rowe and Darnell Brewer. What this bill does is it requires parents to lock up guns that they have to keep them out of lock up guns that they have to keep them out of the kids' reach, so they stay safe. So this was a huge win at the State House, and definitely something I wanted to highlight to our community in light of everything that's been going on here. And another quick update, just in reference to baseball, the Guardians camp is coming up the week of July the 13th. If anyone has any questions about it, you can reach out to Mr. Fantone or Mr. Strickland. Any questions in reference to that? Thank you.
I'd like to also follow Mrs. Crawford in thanking the Mr. Marlowe and Ms. Rosnaya and the administrative team for the work that you have done to help eliminate the negative balance and put us in the right place. But I think it's also important to speak to the community. If anyone ever watches our board meeting and makes it to the end of our board meeting, again, the funding from the state over the past years has continued to decrease. And that's a fact. And I know that our administrators are gathering that information to make it public. However, the cost to buy and purchase and run an operation, and it's a business, our most precious asset are our children. So we have to spend the money that we have to spend in order to provide a quality education for the students of the Twinsburg City School District. Those costs, and again, just for the sake of comparison, look at our own grocery bills, look at our own electric bills, look at our own expenses in our homes in order to maintain it at the same level that you've been maintaining it over the past 3 or 4 years. It's a very, very tense time, and while we have resolved the issue of the negative balance, we are still going to have a vote on the ballot for the earned income tax. What I would ask, and I think on behalf of our colleagues on the board, if you have questions about what that really means, please don't go to social media for your answer. You have a treasurer here with an open door and responds very well. We have an interim superintendent who will respond and talk to you. The earned income tax is being confused on social media to be something that's going to tax Social Security, or we're going to get taxed on this or that. You are not. It is only on income, and it covers every person who lives in the district. It is only on those earning an income. And Social Security, while I know you think it's your income, and it is your income, it is not an earned income from daily going to work, punching a clock, and coming home. So please, I would just ask again, if there's questions on what this is about, contact the central office, contact one of your board members, and get it from the information from the source that is going to give you the right information. I appreciate your time and your efforts. I appreciate you trying to go out and talk about things. But again, I think there's a lot of misinformation that's floating around that could be easily corrected with a quick phone call and a short ask. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a thank you to the anonymous donor that donated the $4,000 for the author's visit. So we appreciate that and thank you.
All right, motion to adjourn at 7:44 p.m. So moved. Mrs. Hamilton,
Second?
Mrs. Egan, any discussion?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in online and coming in person, and we hope you have a wonderful week. Good night.